It seems like now is the worst time to buy meme coins in crypto. Murad, the main advocate for SPX6900, he is in unrealized losses. $60 million of unrealized losses. At least some of those losses are now partially shrinking. The SPX token has slightly outperformed the rest of the market in the last week. But is that long-term conviction going to play out favorable for Murad long-term? Let's have a look at the on-chain metrics. Who's buying here? Who's selling here? Does it make sense to get into the current rally? Let's check out the on-chain data, the data most people are not considering. Now, the very first video on SPX6900 was published on this channel when the price was still 11 cents. Now, that was on the 30th of September 2 years ago. The last week had been very bullish. We are close to 40 cents now, but have a look at what kind of roller coaster ride that was. We went from the 11 cents all the way up to $1.85 to then come back crashing down to 30 cents. And now we are slightly recovering. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and I did this mainly through active trading of altcoins. My track record is down below. Over the last 2 years, I have published my trades in real time. And this is the history. On average, I made 5% per trade without any leverage over a sample size of 172 trades and an average holding duration of 27 days. Currently, we have 7 positions open. Now, SPX6900 used to be the high flyer of all of crypto. It appreciated extremely quickly. But now, within the meme coin space, it's at number 10. It's smaller than Bonk. It's smaller than Pudgy Penguins. The Pepe meme coin is 4 times larger. Shiba Inu is 10 times larger. So there are 2 ways to look at this. We could either declare the project dead, or we could make some fantasy calculations saying that maybe there is a potential 10x from here. Now, the project hasn't done anything to its website over the last years. It looks exactly the same. And X.com, formerly known as Twitter, also has no interesting information at all. Relative to the rest of the altcoin market, SPX tended to underperform in the last years. So that's the SPX price relative to the rest of the altcoin market cap, an underperformance of 58%. But maybe we are somewhat stabilizing now. Relative to Bitcoin, it looks like the appreciation is even faster. This is our rally in the last week, but we might be getting closer to a potential resistance. So again, this is the SPX price relative to the Bitcoin price. I like to look at those relative valuation charts because it gives us an idea how much we outperform or underperform. We are canceling away all of the macro noise because in general, Bitcoin and the altcoins, they tend to move in similar directions. Now, when you're asking artificial intelligence, what's behind this recent rally, you're just getting noise. There's a spike in trading volume, there's a potential resolution of the US-Iran conflict, and a bit of technical analysis mumbo jumbo. But really, we have to ask ourselves, what's behind a price appreciation like this? Because it's obviously not the average retail investor that's buying here. Have a look at the number of social mentions over time. This tends to trend down, as does the price. Here is the number of social engagements. Here is the number of creators talking about SPX6900. So this video that you're watching, it's an outlier. Not many people are discussing the asset. The sentiment within social media is relatively stable though. So the activity is going down, but the people that talk about SPX6900, they tend to have a positive bias. By the way, if you're using X, formerly known as Twitter, then feel free to also check out this account. I publish various data points on cryptocurrency regularly over here. Make sure though that you follow the right account. So that's at BitcoinStrat. Don't follow an impersonator or a scam account. I only use this account. I don't use any other account. Now let's have a look at the trading volume of SPX6900. We only had 7 million on Bybit in the last 24 hours on the spot market. But check out the perpetual futures. Here we had 36 million. So really, most trading nowadays tends to happen on the perps or on the levered bets on the price. The funding rate for SPX600 tends to be somewhat balanced. So there's the same number of people that are betting on a rising price versus on a falling price. The open interest though is very low. And this is important. Open interest is a measure of how much leverage there is currently in the price. So when there's a lot of open interest, many people bet on the price, and then arbitrage bots tend to balance this out with the spot market. So when there's a lot of open interest, people just want to short-term bet on the price, and then potentially when the attention goes down again, when it moves to the next cryptocurrency, then open interest goes down, and with that, the price tends to follow as well. Just have a look at how strongly open interest and the SPX price move in tandem. More leverage means a higher price, less leverage means a lower price. And currently, the leverage is rather low. In other words, it doesn't look like this is a short-term pump and dump induced by the perpetual futures market. It seems like this is purchases happening on the spot market instead. Now, instead of randomly guessing where the price might be headed from here, I like to figure out trading rules that historically worked well for a particular asset. And so let's do the same for SPX6900. My preferred approach is to use golden crosses and death crosses. So that's crosses of two moving averages. The question is, what's the best duration of moving averages for a particular asset? And to find that out, we use the backtesting platform of this channel that's available to the premium members. We are backtesting SPX6900. We try to find out what best combination between a slow moving average and a fast moving average worked the best for SPX6900. And here is the answer. It is the 9-day simple moving average versus the 3-day simple moving average. So how well does that trading strategy work over time? Here is the result. At the top, we've got the SPX600 price. At the bottom, we've got how this trading strategy worked measured in US dollars. That's the line here in blue. And at the bottom, we've got how the portfolio moved measured in SPX tokens. So very nice long-term outperformance. How much outperformance? That's over here. Buying and holding SPX600 would have given us minus 44% annualized. But going long and short based on that trading rule gave us more than 400% APY. Now, I'm not saying that this backtested performance has to be the holy grail of trading SPX600, but at least it gives us a reference point. At least it's something that historically worked well. Where are we right now with that rule? The 3-day SMA is above the 9-day SMA. So we did get a bullish signal on the 11th of June. That was when the price was at 33 cents. Now we are at 38 cents. We got our death cross over here on the 13th of May, then subsequently we went down. So you can see that this trend follower tends to work pretty well for SPX600, and currently we are bullish. The momentum is bullish. I like to use this trading strategy of optimized golden and death crosses. That's the performance that I got historically with that. So this here in orange, that's currently our open positions, which I cannot share here on YouTube, of course. But have a look at this. So for example, we shorted the Luna token. That made us 14%. And when we got the death cross, so that's this message over here, it's published on Telegram, but you can also get those signals via email. Once we had a quick rally and then subsequently our death cross, that's when we shorted, and then we closed that position once we get the golden cross. So when the shorter term moving average crosses the longer term moving average. I like this approach a lot. And right now, SPX600 is still bullish. It's very dangerous to now bet on a falling price. It's better to wait until the 3-day SMA crosses the 9-day SMA again, which might be 1 or 2 weeks from now, depending on how long this rally lasts. So yeah, most people in crypto tend to lose long term. And that's probably why a lot of creators now move completely over to AI. Many people have given up on crypto, but I think especially times like this, it's the kind of market phases where making money becomes easier. Because in the end, active investing is just a player versus player game. And if now everybody has their attention on AI, that makes the game of crypto easier. And I can actually prove this with numbers, not just with the trading history, but also with the average duration that people here in premium tend to stay subscribed. On average, that tended to hover at around 7 months. But recently, the market is getting easier and people in premium are making money more consistently. And so it's a product that pays for itself. Why wouldn't you stay in a membership that makes you money? That's why this is currently going up. I've never shared this data before, but instead of just showing my trading history, I think it's also nice to show that people that are currently inside are obviously getting their value as well. There's a lot to discover. For example, we also do interest rate arbitrage, many tutorial videos that explain how this all works. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. In case you don't like premium, just email me over here and I'll refund you. No questions asked. So to summarize, the medium-term trend in SPX6900 still looks bullish. There is not too much short-term leverage in the asset yet, and the momentum is bullish. If you're considering to bet on a falling price, or you're wondering when to potentially sell your current stack of SPX6900, at least wait until we get the death cross, until the 3-day simple moving average goes below the 9-day simple moving average. That's the approach that historically worked extremely well for the asset. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. Helps the channel grow. See you next time here on YouTube, or see you in premium. Link to that pops up here on the screen. See you next time. Cheers.